Can you guys hear me all right? Yeah. Okay, awesome. Hey, Taylor.
Let's go.
There's the one and only. Awesome. Hey, guys. I think we should start with some intros. This is the interactive live streaming panel. We're talking about a bunch of cool stuff across different platforms on both Twitch and Beam. I guess I should probably start with an intro first.
There you go. I can hear myself now.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Cool. So my name's Matt. I am one of the co-founders of Beam. We're an interactive live streaming platform for gamers. So kind of the theme of this talk orients around kind of our mission to make gaming live streams more interactive, more fun. We have an amazing community. I do need a quick disclaimer. Beam was just acquired by Microsoft. So these opinions are my personal opinions and not necessarily those of Microsoft's. But yeah, it's cool news either way. So yeah.
Cool. My name's Luckham for the Win, formerly known as Minecraft WB. I've been in the YouTube/Twitch community for over 6 years, and yeah, I make content.
Cool.
Hi, I'm Richard. I'm the Interactive Program Manager at Beam. It's my job to empower and enable streamers to make their content more interactive and engaging.
Awesome. And hey guys, Anfinem here. I'm a content creator on YouTube, Twitch. I've done a whole bunch of Beam streams, so I guess you could kind of call me a jack of all trades in this sort of industry. And yeah, I'm here to just talk about my story with content creation and my experiences with Beam.
And Taylor, you were the first Beam streamer ever. There's a little backstory there.
Yeah,
actually,
I mean, back in the day, like anytime something is being beta tested, whether it's Beam or whatever, like especially with your process, there's like 4 command line programs that I need and got to make sure they all connect with each other. But yeah, I mean, back when it was just beampro.net, and there was no pages, no signing up. You had to assign yourself your own nickname. You just wrote in what you wanted your nickname to be, just to test the streaming platform itself. Yeah. So that was a fun time. That was a good day.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. But like that day, we kind of like proved the concept, and like we've grown a lot since then. And it's been like a wild ride. Like I mentioned, we just got acquired by Microsoft. We have hundreds of thousands of people that are using Beam every single month now, which is awesome. We're super excited about that. And we're growing fast, and we're adding new stuff. So yeah, I think maybe we spend some time kind of talking a little bit more. I'm particularly interested for your story and your story, because you guys have been doing YouTube and live streams for a really long time. Yep. Mm-hmm. So I would love to hear a little bit more about kind of, first of all, your journey.
My journey started out with Minecraft. I started out playing Minecraft by myself, and then my son joined in, and then my wife joined in. It became Minecraft Family Adventures, and it was huge for us. It was a big turnaround in our life. Like, it really changed a lot for us. And then I kind of, grew away from that and started live streaming, and I found something completely new. I love interacting with my community. I love being there and seeing people and answering questions and talking to them. And on YouTube, answering comments for me wasn't enough. So I started live streaming. If you guys don't know what live streaming and how it works, it's literally like watching TV, but I'm in the corner and I talk to you. So it's like your TV talks to you. It's pretty crazy. It's a crazy concept, but it works, and it works very well. And I started streaming on Twitch, and it was a whole new world for me where I could interact with my fan base on that level. It was mind-blowing. So yeah, I've been doing this for a while, and I absolutely love it, and yeah, it's cool.
Sweet. How about you, Taylor?
And I mean, if you wanted to hear my entire story as to how long I've been making content, I mean, I guess I've been given permission to kind of go in depth with it.
Do it, make it happen.
I've been making videos since 2004, actually. I mean, it still had to do with video games back then, but I mean, YouTube didn't even exist back when I started making videos. So, back in the old Tony Hawk community, there are like gatherings of people, because I was like brand new to the community. People made skate videos, and I enjoyed the idea of looking at it. I'm like, someone made this with like some kind of personal software, so I found out what Windows Movie Maker was, and that's what I used for years. I mean, I think a good 3 years is that was the program that I used. And back then, there was no YouTube even. Back in 2004, we had to upload our files onto these like FTP servers and just share the link, and someone had to manage how much bandwidth they had, because most servers didn't have unlimited bandwidth back then. And I mean, that went on until YouTube came around in 2006, and And suddenly there was this platform where, I mean, I kid you not, a lot of us, we all take advantage of this to this day. But back in 2006, having a website that had an integrated video player that wasn't like Windows Media Player plugin that you needed to download separately was like totally revolutionary. You know, just to have a Flash player with built-in controls, that was mind-blowing in 2006, and that was only 10 years ago. So, I mean, that's when I started uploading my content there, and I've shifted games over time. I played RuneScape for a long time. There was Minecraft, there was Line Rider, now Minecraft. And I've also been doing some live stream content for about that long, actually, even though live streaming as we know it has only really existed since 2010. You know, whether it be Ustream, live stream, Twitch, you know, that's kind of the evolution that it's been over time. But I remember back in the day, actually, where I had a program on my computer called like HCam, I think. And this is, again, 2005. Like, there's no live streaming, where if you wanted to live stream, you hosted it on your computer, had a page that you sent to your friends, and you managed the bandwidth of every single person watching. So there's no such thing as like really a good internet connection back then, unless you were really lucky. So I had to live stream to people on a megabit upload, and every single person who watched, like, that kept eating into my bandwidth. So the point that I'm making with that is that I've seen the medium grow over time. So I remember when I was blown away by Ustream when that came around back in the day. Again, with an integrated player showing the viewer count, suddenly hundreds of people could watch a stream. So seeing the integrated video player show up was really the first big evolution, and I really feel like we're only getting into the beginning of the second big one right now, which is interactive live streaming on a sub 1 second level, which is what, you know, where Beam is going right now. And I feel like what's possible with this medium is untapped right now. We're just breaching the surface, honestly. We're only just seeing the iceberg that we're about to reach. So while it looks so small right now, in 5 years, it may be common sense that this could be the biggest medium in gaming, or just in the gaming space, or the video space in general, being able to interact with something. You know, for all I know, in 10 years, it may be like foreign to do live streams that don't have interactivity.
Exactly.
Yeah, people are doing this. So if you look at, it's even happening in sports too, not just gaming. So a lot of what we talk about is like in the context of gaming. And I know later you'll talk a little bit about some other interesting things we're working on. But if you look at like sports, for example, there's what are called augmented streams. So they'll augment the stream with information about the players, information about the score. So if you're watching a real-time streaming sport game, you get to see insights into like what's actually happening in the game itself, and not just a live video feed. And those are things that make sense in the context of gaming too. So those are things that we're working on. That's awesome. And to your point, I completely agree. I think that like if you look at just 10 years ago, how archaic live streaming looked, it's almost impossible.
It was non-existent.
Right.
You know, you had to do it on your own connection, unless there was a site that may have existed for that, but I certainly didn't know about it.
So it's almost impossible to kind of like imagine what it'll be like in 10 years, but what we are seeing right now is this huge trend towards interactivity. And I guess like we should be more specific about what we mean by this. So there's kind of different ways to make your broadcast interactive. If you broadcast on Twitch like these guys do, you have things like the chat on the right-hand side, and you can have like a real-time, I shouldn't say real-time, you can have a conversation with the broadcaster, right? And it may be delayed, but it works, right? You can have a conversation, which is interesting. On Beam, we take two kind of approaches towards making broadcasts more interactive. So the first thing we do is we drop the latency way down. So when you stream on Beam, you have like sub-second latency. So when a broadcaster says, hey, how's it going? You see it instantly, you respond instantly, and less than a second later, you can be actually having a conversation with the broadcaster.
Yeah, I was going to say something real fast.
Yeah.
That is probably one of the most important things as a broadcaster for myself, and I know other broadcasters, is that interactivity. So when you have that delay, you lose it. So like when we're playing a game, we're in the heat of it things, and we're like, hey, guys, should I go left or should I go right? And it's like you wait about, 10, 15 seconds, and you're dead. And their whole chat room's like, you went left, but you died.
You should have gone right.
Yeah, exactly. So
Right.
yeah, it's very important.
Yeah, it's cool. So the other way that we think about this, and this is what I think is really interesting about Beam in particular, is that the fact that we have such low latency allows us to allow viewers to actually impact gameplay. So when you're streaming on Beam, your viewers can get to go in and, for example, in Minecraft, spawn enemies for you to fight, choose what weapons you get to use. They give you care packages, they can heal you, they can help you out. We even have like full-on mini games where the viewers can trigger like a UFO abduction, and you have to like fight off the aliens, and then like the UFO.
I've played
flies
that.
over.
That was amazing.
It's cool, right?
Yeah.
So it's things like this that make the medium more interesting. And our hypothesis in general, and I think this is true on other platforms as well, but when you have engaging content that actually allows you to participate and be a member of the gameplay, viewers stick around longer, it's more fun for them. And as a broadcaster, really your job is to build relationships, right? And this is a tool to help you build relationships in a better way. So.
Exactly.
And I even have a slight story as far as like getting the viewers in on literally interacting live, not necessarily just spawning stuff from you, but literally being in the gameplay. So you mind if I tell the story about Surgeon Simulator
Absolutely.
a little bit?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've been involved with Beam for quite a while now, but one of the more recent streams that I did was where I wanted to know how I could get people directly involved in the gameplay. Rather than them like spawning stuff on me and causing external factors, I wanted to see how they would do literally controlling part of the game with me. So I had the idea where I thought it might work if the viewers control the keyboard, right? Or at least most of the keyboard functions, because I think the viewers controlling the mouse, it would be nothing but the mouse doing this, you know, it would just be moving around constantly. So I control the mouse and the clicks, and they control this. So we played a game called Surgeon Simulator. And the way it works is your left
I'm curious,
hand.
hey Taylor, who here has played Surgeon Simulator?
Okay.
That's a fair bit. Okay,
Cool.
awesome,
All right,
cool.
cool.
It's a great game.
So I
Sorry,
want you to
continue.
try and envision how this would work if you're actually watching the stream and interacting with it. So the movement of the arm during Surgeon Simulator, because it's a one-handed game that it shows, but on your keyboard, you control the squeezing of the fingers, and with the mouse, you control where the hand goes and whether or not it goes up and down. So I had about 70 people watching or something, and we successfully did all 4 surgeries, like where they controlled the grabbing of objects and putting them down and making sure, like it's actually really challenging to have them keep the fingers held down, because they have to keep spamming those keys to make sure that the fingers stay grabbed, because they might let go of a tool and suddenly whoops, the rib went the wrong way. You know,
That's not a sentence you want to hear in the context of a surgery.
yeah, exactly. So no, we did all 4 of them, and I mean it didn't even take that long. It took like an hour and a half to do all 4 of them.
Yeah.
So, and everyone is having fun. The chat was just laughing hysterically at it. And that's not something that you can get from a non-interactive medium, aside from them maybe laughing at what you're doing, but then it doesn't have the same entertainment factor. So that's just one of many ways that at least I envision things being done with interactive live streaming. And that was a really fun experience.
Yeah, I think one of the things is like kind of core to this is the fact that if you make your broadcasters a part of the experience, it creates a much tighter connection between them. So it's not just them watching you, it's you guys participating in something. And especially for guys like, Anthony and you already have presences elsewhere on like YouTube, for example. And it gives your viewers on that medium a chance to actually interact in a completely different way.
Exactly.
Which I think is cool.
Exactly.
I want you to talk about the cooking show.
So I do something completely
This is
different.
crazy, by the way.
I come from a complete gaming background, and I'll give you for me, I said when I went to Twitch, it was mind-blowing. I went from doing YouTube videos, and then I went to Twitch, and there was that interaction. I could finally interact with my fan base, and I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. So, like I said, I've been in this community for a long time, and a lot of people always ask me, they're like, Lachlan, hey, what do you think the next best thing is going to be? And now, it's interactive streaming. Interactive streaming is mind-blowing. So here's what I do. Instead of gaming, I do interactive cooking. So last week, I did an interactive cooking stream where we went out to the store, we bought a bunch of ingredients for pizzas, all types of different pizzas, and when I say ingredients, crazy ingredients. So on Beam, on the interactive part, when you watch the stream, there's a little screen that's it's your live stream screen, and then you have a bar down here that's your controls. So I had 3 buttons here, and one button said regular pizza, dessert pizza, and ridiculous pizza. Now, on Beam, the way that this works is the more time that you guys, when you come there and you spend in live streams, you get a currency called Sparks. That's what you do. You earn these Sparks, and you use these Sparks to turn around and play in the interactive streams. I feel like what this does, on Twitch, it's really cool, but there's no way for you guys to really interact with me, but by just chatting in the chat room. Here, You get ready for this. So all of a sudden, I turn on the controls, and you guys spin your sparks. So you press these buttons with your mouse from your computer, and this little bar just builds up, and once the bar builds up, I'm gonna go with Ridiculous Pizza. Ridiculous Pizza goes away, and then a whole list of ingredients with buttons comes up, and each one has a value on it.
Did you see this, Taylor?
I have not, and I'm being blown away right now, actually, a little bit.
So each one has a value on it. So like, for instance, like watermelon. So who eats watermelon on pizza? Show of hands, please. I do.
Exactly.
I do.
There's one person over here.
I totally do. So there's like watermelon, there's like squid, anchovies, there's like just crazy stuff. And that's the entertainment value, first of all, because they're like, oh my gosh, this guy's really gonna eat this pizza that I make. And I did. It was horrible, by the way. And he did too. So,
I regret it.
Like,
Every
I
moment.
opened it up, and like, we would start running out of ingredients. I'd be like, all right, guys, you gotta pick the sauce, and then, because that's what they would do. The sauce, you'd have Alfredo and red sauce. Then over here, you would obviously have cheese. And so we'd say, okay, here's what we're gonna do. And this is in real time. This is me talking to you right now. No delay, no nothing. I'd be like, all right, guys, ready? Pick the sauce. Red sauce.
And
Build it
for
up.
context, there were over 100 people that
Like doing
watched the
this
stream.
and interacting with us at this level, and it was mind-blowing because like I had pizzas that were made by my chat room, and like they could say that, hey, we made him eat that disgusting pizza. They're the ones that made that
The
work.
ridiculous pizzas were
The
disgusting.
ridiculous pizzas were.
There was the regular
There's
pizza
the
and the
regular
dessert
pizzas.
pizza.
When is
And
the
the
chat in that
dessert
regard ever gonna not choose ridiculous
They're
pizza, though?
such trolly. They're so trolly. If you give them a chance to troll, they troll.
So here's the
completely.
thing, though. It costs more sparks to make a ridiculous pizza than
Yes,
it
it
does
did.
to make a regular
Yes, it
fair.
did.
Okay.
So here's what happens when a lot of people go to those streams. They spend all their sparks. So we know like this is what they really like. They're spending all their sparks, and for them to regain sparks again, they got to hang out on other streams, build up their sparks again, and then they can come back. Because we try to do these weekly. So we got another one coming up after we get back. It's a mac and cheese extravaganza with a good friend of mine who's really into mac and cheese.
That's
And
gonna be
we're going to
interesting.
create all types of mac and cheese from around the world, and then we're going to let the chat actually create their own mac and cheese, and we obviously have to eat it. But it's so much fun to do that.
How weird can mac and cheese get? Like,
We're going to find out. Oh. We're going to find out. And you're good. Oh, I wish I could show you the picture, but I have a picture here. It's actually on our Instagram. It's on Beam Instagram, isn't it? I think it is.
it's on the Beam Twitter.
Oh, it's on Beam Twitter.
Yes, that's a
But
little
I got a
plug. Follow
picture
us on
here that
Twitter.
shows the pizzas. The pizzas actually look really good. Don't let
The
them look
regular
for
ones
you.
look really good. The
No,
ridiculous ones
watermelon,
actually look pretty good
They
too.
weren't bad, but they were horrible to eat.
Specifically, I think it was the seafood mix that was the problem.
Don't even remind
The
me.
watermelon wasn't bad. It was the
was-
seafood mix that had octopus and like stuff in it. That was like the worst. Okay, so a little context here. It cost 10,000 sparks to vote to add seafood mix into it.
Yeah.
10,000 sparks.
That's a lot. That is like many hours worth of watching.
that's like-
to get 10,000 sparks. Because yeah, that's how you get sparks. It's just by watching. There's
We
nothing
made
else to
3
it.
ridiculous pizzas.
It's like 5 days of constant watching.
Wow.
Like, this is
and that's how much
ridiculous.
they had to do to cast a vote.
Just for one vote, right? To put the seafood mix in. It takes 10 votes to like actually make it happen. And we made multiple pizzas that ended up having seafood mix in it. So these people, like, I don't know if any of you like were, here's a good question. Did anyone watch that stream?
JoJo did.
Anyone?
You did too? Okay,
did you guys
cool.
interact with that stream?
JoJo did.
You guys are
she
terrible
spent
people.
all of her sparks. She's like, I spent all my sparks.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was. But the whole point of that is it's taking us to a completely different level for entertainment. It's letting people get involved in that entertainment with us. They're literally creating what we're going to do. And I feel as a streamer that's next level for us. Because the content doesn't become stagnant after a while. You constantly have new things that are thrown at you and new things that you have to overcome. So it's amazing.
Yeah, and specifically for when it comes to gaming, I think the really interesting thing is when we start to get integrated natively with games, right? And there's a lot of opportunities to do that going forward, which we're really excited about. Nothing to announce yet, unfortunately. But we're definitely working on a lot of cool stuff behind the scenes. imagine being able to fire up your favorite game, start a live stream, and involve your viewers in like choosing what enemies you have to fight. Like that's something that's really cool for you because you get like this entirely unique experience. The game is completely different based on who's watching, right? And for your viewers, it's an amazing experience because instead of just sitting and watching a video game, they're actually contributing. And that's nothing to, like, there's nothing against sitting and watching a video game. Esports is a big thing. But our focus really isn't on esports. So a lot of people ask us, like, what's the difference between Twitch and you guys? And really, it comes down to our focus, right? So we're 100% focused on this kind of goal of making live streams more interactive. And I obviously can't speak to Twitch, but that's what we're focused on.
I mean, I think you could think the difference of just a random thought that I had is, imagine, you know, whether it's someone either playing like a game like a sports game or just watching sports. Imagine the difference between just watching it, but then also imagine if you and a series of people in chat got to choose the playbook, play-by-play every turn.
Exactly.
Like the craziness that can come from
You would
that
have
is
them running around in circles on the field.
Exactly.
Like that's what would happen.
You would invent new plays that would make no sense.
Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah.
So Richard, I haven't given you too much time to talk, but I do want to. Richard is our amazing program manager that kind of heads up all this behind the scenes. Specifically, if you guys have questions, this is the guy to ask. But I do want to get like some optics around like how you build these games, right? So I'm sure the question is like, okay, well, how does this actually work? Like behind the scenes, I'm sure some people are curious. So maybe you explain the control editor and how those things like actually happen.
Sure thing. So the important thing to start with is you've got to have an idea. If you don't have an idea, you can't progress. So one way I like to get the ideas going is we've got a control editor, which is part of the process anyway. You go in there and you can drag and drop buttons into grid, which they'll see, and label them with text and spark costs. So sometimes I get sent these grids to my email inbox. It's like, I made this grid. This is what I want to do. This is the idea that I have. And then it's like, okay, cool. This is a cool idea. Let's run through it. So you drag these buttons on, you add the text value, you set how wide they are, how big they are, the arrangement of them on the screen.
There's things like joysticks too and screen controls.
Sorry, to just add that, that's the first type of control we have is these buttons. So you click them and you get the feedback like we've been talking about. We do also have joysticks as well. You can waggle those around and give positional data to the game. So in the Minecraft, which Antven has played, when he gets abducted, the viewers can shake a joystick and break him free and prevent the abduction from happening.
Yeah, so people literally start an alien abduction and then also have the controls to prevent it. Like, people just go back and forth all the time.
Yeah, because here's what you have. You have two sets of audiences, like, or two sets of like people in your broadcast. You have the people that are like, oh, I want to help this guy. This is my favorite YouTuber.
You have the helpful people, and then you have the trolls. And
then you have people that are like, no, we don't want to help them.
Not that I mind. That's what makes it great because we control what they can control. So if we want them to have total access anarchy, then we can do that. If we want only a little anarchy, then okay, we can do that too.
Yeah, it's cool. So I'm sorry, go ahead,
Richard. Sorry.
So once you've made this grid, the next step is getting it in the game. And that involves, at the moment, some programming, which we're looking to improve to make it more accessible to people that can't program. One of the ways we've done that to start with is we've got a soundboard. So you can go in, create a button layout. You can have a button that just says like, the most popular one I've seen is when they do scary streams. Like people play Outlast and they drop like gunshots, scream, like plates crashing below their stream with these buttons. And those play those noises for the streamer. And they put spark costs on these. So people are spending our sparks to scare the streamer. And the gunshot one gets me, and I'm not even playing the game. I'm just sat there watching. It's amazing to see. How you actually go about doing that, though, is you've got to write some code. So we have libraries, and we're ever increasing those libraries to cover more and more platforms. And you hook those in to like events. So it's like if a button gets pushed, you get sent an event, and from that event you can say spawn a zombie in your code. So if you're into modding in any form, and you know a game that's moddable, you can probably drop in content on Beam that's interactive quite easily.
Yeah.
So what do you do, sorry, if the games are not moddable? Like what's the process?
If the games aren't moddable, you can do something like we've got with the Surgeon Simulator that Ant played, where they control like a portion of the game through normal keyboard or mouse. So Antven mentioned Surgeon Simulator, which he had a lot of fun with. What we're also going to look at doing is other games where we can give you half the controls. So we could give you WASD so you can move the character around and give the streamer like mouse control or like other
Right, like,
you,
I
like,
mean,
collaborate.
should I share the idea that I had like just a little bit ago?
Go ahead.
So an idea that I had, because I mean, I've been trying to figure out how to make this platform really work with Minecraft instead of just, oh, some mods. The idea that I had is to let the streamers control WASD and that's it. So I get shift access. So if someone tries to walk me off a cliff or into a lava pool, maybe I can resist that and hopefully prevent them from doing that. And then I have mouse control so I can punch blocks myself as well. And I think if I give them WASD access and then maybe like, well, not the spacebar because then they can make me jump off a cliff, then that might be a good option. And I feel like that would, like, I honestly, when I get home, that's something I'd like to arrange. And obviously that's easy because it's just the WASD controls. So that's all, I feel like that could be a really interesting dynamic. I'd want to go from starting a new game to killing the Ender Dragon with the chat having WASD access and I have no access to it. So I can't even like go against them with WASD, you know, just I lose all control of that. So I think that would be great.
One of the things I want to say for us, I know myself and Ant, we've been playing Minecraft since it's been around. And, you know, after a while, you've got to kind of reinvent ways to play Minecraft. This is the perfect way for us to reinvent ways for us to play Minecraft as we're being, like, you know, trolled or, you know, like letting you guys control what we do. And it makes it so much more fun for us.
Yeah, that's awesome. Cool. Richard, any teasers in terms of stuff that's coming? So for a little background, we're working on some really exciting stuff coming up this winter. One of the things that we announced was an Xbox One app. It's also coming to Windows 10 in the form of an app, which is awesome. So we're excited to announce that. But on the interactive side, there's a bunch going on. I'm curious if you can kind of talk a little bit to some of the things that people might see, things like team-based games and stuff like that. Team-based games are coming.
What basic? I'm sorry?
Team-based games. So
team-based games. Yeah, sorry. I can go with that. So right
Richard's
now,
like, what? What are you?
He's too busy thinking of brilliant ideas.
I heard cheese-based games, and this guy's sitting here with his pizzas, and I'm like, cheese?
Yes, we're going to do that next time, cheese-based games.
So right now, the data that's sent down through these events, it's all like globbed together in one. So you can see like, okay, like 50 people have pushed this button, and that's cool for that. But we want to like give them team access, so you can have like a red team and a blue team. And you know how about like fighting with them or collaborating with them? You can be on those teams and have different controls based on which team you want to join.
Yeah. So like that kind of scenario that we talked about earlier where you have people trying to help with the UFO abduction and people trying to hurt, like you could designate people into teams and you can see what they're doing individually, which is cool.
Another thing that you've got is, say like a 4-player game like Castle Crashers, for example. You could have you playing one character in Castle Crashers, and then you can have the red, green, and blue guy as the third, and they can join that team and then control that character as a team. It'd be like, which team's the best team? Which team isn't the one that, you know, is slowing us down and stopping us from progressing in the game? So that's, you know, another avenue there is collaborating in the game. If you find a multiplayer game, you can do that with teams.
The other thing I think is interesting, and one of the biggest feature requests that we have right now is the ability to see who's interacting, like who made that zombie appear.
Who's the biggest troll?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're going to send you all the data. Developers, all the data coming forward. So if someone pushes that button right now, you wouldn't know who it is. But going forwards, it's going to be, all right, you know, this person pushed the button. You can then call them out in chat, get them talking, blame them.
Who's the biggest troll?
Why did you do that?
No, so there's a Minecraft integration. It's pretty, like, it's an open integration in the sense that it doesn't have like a story behind it. It's just buttons that are like, hey, spawn a zombie. There's one of the buttons that is an explosion.
Yeah.
And so I was watching Sat play, who's one of our broadcasters, and he walked over to like his chests where he had all of his like diamonds and stuff stored. And I have a lot of sparks because I watch a lot of streams. And the explosion button.
You totally don't have any control over how many sparks you have.
Octopus, even though he was on. No, yeah, that was you, huh?
Maybe, I don't know. No, but it was hilarious to like. I don't think it was hilarious for him, but it was hilarious for me and the like other people watching to like do the chest explosion. It would be awesome, or maybe terrible for me again, if they knew who did it.
Yeah.
I would probably get ousted.
I feel like we need Friday night Mario Party beam sessions.
Right. That would be
awesome.
awesome.
Where like, yeah,
Right?
the team thing that you mentioned, instead you control like, one team controls Yoshi, the other controls whoever else is chosen. That would be awesome. I want to see that.
It would be
ASAP.
awesome.
And those are all things that are
And like
possible.
just autonomous, like there's not like, even if there doesn't even need to be someone actually controlling one of the or no, that would be cool. Like one person solely controls their character and the other 3 are teams on beam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Another question. How many of you guys in here play on the Hypixel server? Anybody? How many of you guys play Build Battle? Maybe played that before. All right, so on Beam, they actually have a build battle integrated into Beam. So basically, as a streamer, you can pull up build battle, and your chat room gets to choose what the subject of build is, and they vote. So it's like all real time and happening. It's really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's awesome.
So like specifically,
Yeah.
when you join a build battle game, you can link your Beam account. So if you go on Beam and you click Go Interactive, there's like a quick command that you have to run in Hypixel, and it'll link your Beam account. And then when you're streaming, your viewers get to pick the theme of the build.
Yeah.
You build it. You make something amazing. For those that don't know about build battle,
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
build
It's
battle. I don't know how to explain.
You basically have a subject to build on. So if they say dog, then you have X amount of time to build a dog, and then what happens is, when it's over, everyone kind of floats around into your section and votes and goes, that's not a dog, that's really super poop. You know what I'm talking about, right?
That's the voting
That's
option.
the voting. Super poop is the worst one.
That's just
and then
a
there's
single
like
block of
legendary.
wood.
There's legendary, like that's the best one. But like that's what happens. So people get to vote on your creation. So
I'm really bad. I tried it. I was really,
That's
really
two
bad.
blocks of wood, 2 fence gates, and then like a button on the front of the wood.
See, I
like
thought
it's
it looked
5
like a
blocks.
dog.
You call that a dog?
I don't know. Yeah. It is out there right now. Yeah.
right, exactly.
Yeah, it's cool. All right, anything else that anyone wants to share in terms of like journey? Richard, anything? On that?
I'd love to talk about Let's Robot.
Do it. Let's do it.
Awesome. So another thing that we're seeing a lot of is like real world interactive stuff. So I have a robot arm, and I've hooked it up to the bones, and they can move this robot arm around in the real world. And we started doing like simple stuff like moving a ball from one cup to another. And then someone said, give it a knife. And I'm like, okay.
What?
Okay.
Okay. I did see this. It's not as bad as it sounds like it's about to be.
I gave this,
It's a controlled environment, I'm imagining.
it is a controlled environment. I know exactly where the arm can
With
go.
trolls.
So I gave them a knife, and it's like, what can they do with a knife except try and kill me? So I gave them a banana, and they spent, like, 40 people spent about half an hour cutting a banana in half. And the moment that split, like, chat went wild. And I thought, what else can we do? And this channel showed up out of the blue, and they've got little robots that go around with wheels that run around their office. And they've got lights on the front that shine up.
Claws, they have like...
Claws, yeah.
Yeah.
And they have what's called Free Roam Fridays, where they just let you go throughout their office. And you've got like people sitting in there driving this robot around, and it's like, how many feet can we touch? How many feet can we grab? And then someone in the office like gave us a bag of sweets, and we carried those around to people in the office, then took them out. It was fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Yeah, we'd love to see more of that stuff. There might actually, I heard a little bit of a rumor that there might be some of our own content that is kind of along those same lines. I think Jamie's working on something cool. So keep an eye out for that.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
I can't yet, but do keep an eye out. It's going to be awesome. Yeah, anything else, guys?
It's awesome.
It is awesome.
There we go.
Yeah, so we can start actually taking questions.
Yeah.
Would love to answer anything within reason. I don't know how much, yeah, so.
Cool.
What's up? Do we have a, hold on, I don't know if we have a mic or anything.
I think we do over there.
There's a mic for questions, I guess?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
okay.
wonderful.
Looks like it's
Okay.
over there. If anyone does
It's
want to
over.
line up, has any
Hi.
questions
Hi, over
about
there.
the medium, about, the creation of Beam in general, the format or whatever, just anything that you can think of,
Yeah.
feel free to line
Please.
They're in the dark. Oh,
Go
look
ahead
at
and
that.
light up. There you go.
Awesome.
Aha.
Hi.
Lights are on.
Perfect.
What's up?
Hello. Two little questions. One, how do you deal with like all of a sudden a raid, like in Beam, like all of a sudden you getting raided by this one person, and now the entire schematic of everything is just going wild.
You just got to go with the flow on
Yeah.
that one. I mean, it's
Yep.
just like dealing with any raid, really. If you're about to get hit by a massive troll, and they want an all-meat pizza, and then suddenly they want a ridiculous pizza. The raid is like just dealing with a ridiculous
Yeah.
pizza. You just got to do it. Just got
Part
to
of it
deal
is
with
the
it.
fun of it. So we do a couple interesting things on that front too. To that point, we try and balance it as much as possible so that like no one user can influence anything. That's difficult when you have 100 people that actually are trying to do something, right? So in the future with the per user reporting, you'll be able to stop individual users if they're causing trouble, right? So if there's someone that's really doing not cool stuff, you can stop them from doing that. We also spend a lot of time On the viewer count and tracking side of things, doing legitimacy analysis. So view botting is a problem on platforms. And if people try to maliciously do stuff like this, so maybe it's not a friendly raid, so for those that don't know, raiding is a concept where you send your viewers to another stream and they all might have particular ideas about what type of pizza you should make. So that's what he's asking, like what if they all want to do something that my viewers don't want to do. But if it's a malicious raid and it's some kind of like automated view botting system, we can actually do intelligent analysis using a couple of cool techniques to determine the legitimacy of those users and filter their input out. So there are things we do there. But honestly, if there's 100 people that are coming into your stream from another broadcast and they want to make a ridiculous pizza, they're going to make a ridiculous
Just welcoming in with open arms, screaming and yelling, yeah, what's up, everyone? Welcome!
This is what he does. So
That's what you do.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. And the one other thing, what happens if you stop losing feeling in one of your toes and you still have one more day of MINECON left?
I might recommend maybe a foot massage, I don't know, or some
think
shoe
we,
insoles,
have to
one or the other.
recommend- I think there's some obligation to recommend a doctor.
Yeah.
This is not medical advice. If you can't feel your toe, you should see a doctor.
You should see a doctor.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea too.
Yeah. All right then.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. So I wanted to ask, what do you recommend as the best program to live stream, like OBS or like any other program like that?
I think there's two distinct programs that people would really use right now. I personally do not use this one, but it's called XSplit. I know there's a lot of new advantages coming to that one. That one, I believe, may or may not be a paid one. Don't quote me on that, just because I'm unsure. They may have a free option. The one that I personally use is OBS Studio. It's also a multi-platform program, so if you have a Mac, I would say it's probably it's, in my opinion, the best software. But at this point, it's really close. There's different reasons to use both. If I had to recommend one, I'd probably recommend OBS Studio. It's really easy to get into, and what I like about it is that you can record in one quality and stream in another. So if you want to record in a super high quality for later use, you can do that. There's a lot of other different options between both programs. My recommendation is OBS. XSplit is another one to try out as well.
Yeah, and both of those tools work with both platforms, so both Twitch and Beam. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about
Awesome,
you?
thanks.
No problem.
I use OBS also. I love OBS. It's very easy.
Oh, we've got loads of it.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, more, okay.
Okay,
Well,
we'll
actually,
do-
we'll alternate between so we don't end up with one
Well,
line.
there's only
too
one
long.
more over here. We'll do
Alright,
this, and then
we'll
we're going to
take-
hit up
we'll
the
take
rest of
him
that
over
row,
there.
the rest of that side
Go
over
ahead.
there.
So how often do you get currency?
I'll take it.
Yeah, go ahead.
So every minute you get 2 sparks.
2 sparks.
So every minute you get 2 sparks. So that builds up over time, and that's only when you're watching streams. So the more streams you watch, the more sparks you get. So you get a lot of people that save up through the week for like Luckland's pizza streams. They're like, damn, I need to go get some more sparks, but watch some Beam.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Also, if you're pro on Beam, you pay a small fee and it helps support all of us. You get double the sparks.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you subscribe to, we've got partners just like Twitch does, and if you subscribe to a partner, you get double sparks in their channel as well.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yep.
So we'll go to that side and then alternate.
Unless you have another question.
You have another-
No, thank you.
All right.
Thanks.
No problem.
Cool.
So, not a gaming question, but actually the first thing I thought of is I'm a software developer, and I know that coding.
I like your
stream
Git
code-
shirt.
Thanks. The coding interactively or streaming coding right now is getting more popular. And is there any plans on playing around with interactive coding?
So coding a program, so interactively.
That's a great idea.
Richard?
Oh, wow. I mean, you might
That
have
sounds
to
like it would
throw
end
a
really
few
badly.
limitations in there, but, don't want to code a virus or anything.
So one of the problems with that, and Richard, I'm curious to hear if there's anything top of mind for you. One of the problems with that, if you look at what's been done with giving users like kind of free-form access to any kind of like environment like that, there is something called Twitch installs Arch Linux. I don't know if you saw that. People could type Twitch commands that get ran in like a Unix environment that was like really open, and people were DDoSing people from the Twitch installs
Yeah.
Arch Linux box, which was like sad. And if you give people access to do whatever they want in a programming environment, maybe you end up with similar things.
I was thinking more like voting on feature requests and that sort of thing.
Oh,
but-
okay. So not coding directly. Interesting. That's actually a great idea. I'd love to. So there's already some coding streams on Beam. We don't have an integration for coding, so there's not like any interactive elements to it yet. You should write one. I'd love to see it. And
What I do see a lot is people like coding those interactive stuffs with viewers watching the development.
Yeah.
Like that robot arm that I spoke about, I coded that live on Beam. And the moment that I kept starting up the script and it would crash and the controls would vanish, and then I started up and someone hit left and the arm moved, it was like, wow, we did this together. You watched me do this.
Yeah, that is cool. So
Thank you.
idea. Great idea. Yeah. Hi.
Oh, we should.
Yeah, we got one question on the left, and then we'll go back to the right.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, this is confusing.
Yep. You.
So, say someone's AFK during a stream, will they still get the currency?
In some cases, yes. So it depends on what you mean by AFK. We have certain parameters where we won't count. So if you leave your browser open for like 3 days, you're not going to earn.
Yeah.
People do this.
Yeah,
This used
they
to
do.
be a thing. We actually recently rolled out things that changed that. It works for both viewer count too. In some cases, yes. We don't speak to exactly what those cases are. So because there's people that try and farm these things. Like people have like bot accounts that are set up just to earn sparks. Really? So like it is a thing. If you need to take a quick break, for example, you're not going to stop earning sparks. But if you leave your computer out for 3 days, you're not going to get it. But good question. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So, have you ever got your laser lights back, Matt?
Okay, a little bit of a backstory there. Yes, actually. So I do lighting and laser design like as a side thing for fun. And I did. So there was an event in Florida that we were doing, and I shipped the lasers and lights that way. And now they're back in Seattle, which is where we're based out of. So yeah, we're based out of Seattle with Microsoft.
So what she's saying is, your next stream, she wants to see your lasers and lights.
I want to do interactive laser programming.
Yeah, we can.
That's even better.
Let's do that.
Can you help me with that,
Please
Richard?
do. I want to be there. Let me know when you're doing
There
that,
we go.
please.
Yeah.
So now you'll get to control the lasers, Jojo.
Thank you for reminding me. So yeah.
All hot pink. It's going to be an all hot pink light show.
Is there ever going to be any presets available? So like, if somebody wanted to like
That's a great
do a thing, but then they just like want to do a quick stream, but then they didn't want to like fully add to code the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yep.
Yes, so the people developing their own integrations is just one way to do it. The other way is that we've got developers working on it, and we've got games that are going to come out with this built in. So if you want to learn and do that, you can. But if you want to pick up something, we've got integrations out there that you can just pick up and go. We've got right now what's called the interactive store. You go to your channel page and you hit Go Interactive, and it gives you a list of just stuff that other people have created that's cool and you can try out, and that doesn't require any.
They're
coding.
like templates, like
Yeah.
you asked.
Yeah, pretty much. There's a bunch of them there.
Cool. So the answer is yes.
Yes.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
What would you say is the best way to gain followers and viewers?
That's a great question.
I would say have fun and be yourself and don't worry about those numbers. So many people worry about those numbers and who's watching me and how many are watching me. Who cares? Just be yourself and have fun. That's all I can really say.
I have one answer to that, and it sort of embodies like everything I've been doing for the past couple of years. And it's a quote by Steve Jobs. And the quote goes, "You've got to find what you love." And that is as true for work as it is for your lovers.
Exactly.
And your work is going to fill a large part of your life. And the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. So you have to just not give up and just keep pushing. And
Yeah.
don't settle.
If you love what you're doing, it'll come through in your broadcast.
Exactly.
If you're a passionate gamer that really wants to get like an audience and get involved with it, the small numbers that you have will multiply overnight.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We do have another question over on the left side.
Go ahead.
Okay, so are we able to like open up multiple tabs and watch different streams on one account, like to gain more of the points, I guess?
See, I'm telling
To
you,
a degree.
people do
To a
it.
degree.
You used to be able to. No, you can't do it any longer.
So it's one at a time, whichever one's the active tab or something?
Yeah. So if you're
Okay.
watching a stream in general, like you'll earn sparks, but limited up to that like 2 per minute or 4 per minute if you're a subscriber.
Yeah.
So
So like if you have the Beam app open, are you allowed to like watch 2 different streams? Like with
That might be a little bit of a workaround.
There's probably
There are
tiny
people that do
workarounds, but
stuff.
nothing where you could like seriously abuse the system.
This is what we have to deal with.
So like
by the
you
way.
could, I'm envisioning your envision right now where you're thinking, I'll just open up 45 streams and get 80 sparks per minute.
I wish.
So probably not along that line. If you find a small workaround, I mean, I don't think you're going to get too much major out of it.
4 iPads.
If you try really hard,
Like,
there
if you
are
have
ways
four-
you can probably
If you
game
have
it.
4 unique logged in iPads, then I commend you.
More power to you.
Right? More power to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just go back a bit. Yeah, go for it.
So how do you get yourself out there on YouTube and stuff like that?
Say that question one more time.
Sorry, I'm nervous.
No
No,
worries,
it's okay.
dude.
So how do you get yourself out there like on YouTube and stuff?
I mean, there's a lot of ways to really go about it. It really does boil down to enjoying what you do. But I mean, sure, there's a better answer for that, right? So at least my process is if you want to start with something completely new, a space that you've never made videos in before, whether it be YouTube or Twitch, you know, it works both ways, is you can't prevent yourself from putting out content. The first step is getting that video out there, even if it's terrible, right? But then from there, maybe showing it to your friends, getting constructive feedback, and mixing that in with your personality. So if someone is telling you to act a certain way, maybe I wouldn't go with that. Stick with your own personality. But maybe if, you know, a certain editing style, maybe your
Maybe
footage
the
is like,
audio
your
is
footage is
bad.
really
Yeah.
weird, like you weirdly crushed your footage or something like that, you know. Take advice with a grain of salt, but just be yourself. That's the only thing you can do. Because if you're not yourself, and if you don't enjoy what you do, then ultimately you're going to burn out from it. You're going to dislike doing it. It's not, you know, it's going to go from a hobby to something you hate doing. You know, and that's not where you want to wind up.
Yeah.
So to get yourself out there, be yourself, and just take feedback as it comes, and always be trying to make unique things. Because you know, if you're just doing, you know, going along with the curve and just making the same thing everyone else is, I mean, that might work if your personality's really out there for it. There's some YouTubers who are like that, or whatever, you know, Twitch or Beam or whatever. But just do what you feel is right. Do what you feel like you're gonna want to do.
Yeah.
One thing I would add to that, and this is just like my own personal thoughts from like watching broadcasts and watching YouTube videos too, like you asked. I think it's more interesting when you play with your friends, right? So creating a network around your broadcast or creating a network around your YouTube channel, even if it's just your friends, I think makes things more interesting and more engaging. It's not maybe as fun for me to watch a solo person playing, you know, solo Hunger Games as it is to watch like a team that's collaborating together. I think that makes more engaging content, and it gives you the plus of like being on multiple channels and getting your word out there. So networking is another thing that I would add that's important.
Yep, you just gotta go with what you feel, though. You know, if you feel multiplayer content, do that. 100%, go after it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. We got a few more on the left.
Yeah, sorry if I was late or not, but if you said this or not, what kind of inspired you to start doing what you do? Like in general, when did you start as well? Like all that?
I started in 2010, October, and what really got me into it in the beginning was I was just playing Minecraft. I was hooked on it, and I loved it. It's a great game. But when my son joined me, that was a really cool bonding moment.
I'm friends with your son, by the way.
You're friends with Ethan? All right.
Yeah, I just called him too.
Nice. So like when my son joined me, he was 9 at the time, and like he's grown through this whole thing. He's 16 now, and he's known as Little Ethan 000 online. He was real little. He's like my carbon copy. Now he's as tall as I am, and it's
Your carbon
insane.
copy.
It's insane, and like that was a big thing for me, that bonding moment. Like a lot of people are like, how do you bond through video games, you know? And it's like, I've been involved in video games even before YouTube. I've been a game designer for 18 years, and it's been a huge part of our family. So when my son joined in, like it was a really cool thing. Like me and my son are playing this game together, and he's showing me how to do things, and I just thought it was amazing. And then when my wife joined, and we had this whole Minecraft family adventures with our whole family playing, that to me that's what inspired me to keep going. It was just awesome.
For me, at least as far as getting into Minecraft is concerned, because again, if we got into my entire life story,
Yeah, I don't want to
that
say,
could take
that's what I'm trying to keep away from.
Right,
It's so long.
but as far as Minecraft is concerned, I mean, I was already making videos at the time, and I was just playing it for fun with friends and whatnot. I mean, anyone in here know Sky Does Minecraft by chance? Exactly. I've been friends with him since before that was ever a name on YouTube. You know, back when his, I won't say what his handle was, but you know, way back in those days when we were just playing for fun. And I even specifically remember when I first started making Minecraft videos, my first two, I uttered this quote, "I'm not turning this into a series." And then look where that got me. So just having fun with it over time. That's just, a friend showed me the game at one point, watched some Let's Plays, really got into it. That's what, and I've been having fun with it. So there's really no other way to explain it, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, on the right?
Hi. What kind of level of expertise would you kind of say to make like an interactive buttons, you know, like you were saying?
So we're constantly working on that. One of the great things that we've got right now is a tutorial, and you can go through that tutorial and get something going pretty quickly. That's like, it allows the people to use a joystick to move your mouse around the screen. So what people have done with that is they've opened up Paint, and you can then let your viewers paint in just Microsoft Paint.
Yeah.
Whatever you want, and we get some crazy creations that way. For going on from that tutorial, we've got like a thriving developer community that's there to help you. We've got a whole developer chat room, developer forums and everything. So if you have questions and want to do this thing, just ask us.
Yeah.
We're here to help.
That's cool. So people can, I think to add on to that, even if you have a relatively novice level of programming experience, you can still build awesome things just with that tutorial by copying and pasting the code and changing values in it, right? Like there are ways that you can make cool interactive integrations like that, and I think that's a great place to start. So, yeah.
Thank you. One last question. It's kind of a random question. What do you think of the YouTuber Leafy is here?
Well, I guess I could answer that.
There you go.
I'm going to choose to not comment on what he makes videos about, because I mean it's controversial in his own way. He has his intro that says like these videos mean no harm. I personally respect his editing style and the amount of work that goes into that, where I know he goes for daily, and I've seen, you know, his project files in Sony Vegas, and I'm like, how did you edit that in a day? Are you a robot? And maybe that's the secret that he's hiding.
Oh.
I think he's funny.
I can't comment.
That's all I'm going to say.
Thank you.
No problem.
What up, guys? There seems to be a lot of younger kids here that are interested in streaming. What is your best recommendation to handling trolls?
Great question. Trolls are hard. The internet is full of trolls, right? And part of that is endemic to the way the internet works, right? People are anonymous. And if you go in and put things that require people identify themselves, some people aren't okay with that, right? And you don't want to necessarily limit audience. So it's a tough challenge to solve. A lot of our focus is on providing streamers with the tools that they need to decide what type of content gets in their chat and what type of content is in their broadcast. We think that every stream is different. Every streamer is unique. Every chat room is unique. And especially for younger audiences, you know, you might necessarily want to limit some aspects of chat, right? You might say want to have a cursing-free stream, and we want to give you the tools that you need to do that. Right now, you can do that in the form of what are called bots, right? So you can add a bot. It's a third-party developed tool into the community, from the community, sorry, and you can specify, hey, I don't want cursing in my channel, and it'll go and filter those things out. You can set certain words that you don't want to be in your channel. In the future, we want to make it easier for broadcasters to do that kind of stuff. So one of the things that we're talking about right now is how we can improve the experience when a new broadcaster creates a channel in really all aspects, but one of the most critical ones is what type of content gets in their broadcast. So we want to provide built-in filters for things like racism, cursing, and different streams have different tolerance levels for that kind of thing, and we want to provide the tools that they need to customize that, right?
I'm going to add to it.
Yeah.
Another thing, too, for younger people who want to get into streaming, moderators in your chat rooms are the best. Like, they're great. You know, you pick people who you trust, people that are in your stream supporting you. Like, those are the people that are there for you. They're not there to hurt you in any way. Those are the ones that are going to watch. So, like, a lot of times when I get trolls that come in, I ignore them completely.
Yeah, that's probably
because
the
my
best thing to do.
moderators
Yeah.
will remove them instantly, and I don't have to do anything. So it just kind of, and the one thing is, when somebody comes in and trolls a stream, they're looking for instant reaction. That's what they want. And if you react to that, like a lot of people make the biggest mistake and react to that. That's what they want. They want that attention. And all of a sudden, they just won. So when I see it, I'll see it out the corner of my eye. They'll say something, and I'll just be like,
keep playing.
I have a very small example, and actually, because it's been so long, I feel comfortable saying this one. Someone once uttered my address on stream, and I was a little bit mystified. I found out how they got it, and I removed it so that it couldn't be found anymore. However, basically it was said, if I had acknowledged it, even if in time to delete it, someone would have, went back and looked for it, but I just deleted it and didn't say a word, and nobody noticed it. No, or if they did, they didn't know what the significance of that was.
Yeah. So as a platform, I think there's things we can do. For those that don't know, and parents, for example, might be interested in this, what they're talking about with the moderation system is the fact that you can appoint users that you trust to become moderators of your channel. So if your parents want to be moderators of your channel to decide what type of content gets into there, you can do that, right? So that's something that I think is important.
I would suggest to do that as a parent, to be honest with you. Like, I like to know, I don't stay on my son's back 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I let him have his own freedom and do his things. But at the same time, like, I want to be involved in what he's doing. So if my son wants to live stream, I'm going to be in there with him, supporting him in what he does. And like, he's just having fun and playing a game and expressing himself that way. So if you guys, out there, younger kids, and you guys are really interested in live streaming, parents, I would really recommend you just to support them with that. It's really cool.
Yeah. Be careful, but do support them. So we have 5 minutes left, so we'll take a couple more. I'm not sure how many we can get to, but definitely.
I think we can get to them all, but nobody else should be able to line up at this point.
Yeah.
So everyone is here. We will get to your questions.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So from the side.
So this question is mainly for Matt. Obviously, you started MC Pro hosting when you were quite young.
I like your shirt, by the way.
For those who can't see, it's an MC Pro hosting shirt.
Yeah.
So what was your motivation to start MC Pro hosting and Beam at such a young age?
Yeah. So MC Pro hosting came out of my love for Minecraft. I started playing Minecraft in 2011 with a friend. He came over to my house. It was like a play date, and we were playing Minecraft. And he showed me the game. At first, I was like, "What is this game with blocks? Like, this is kind of lame." And then, like 2 weeks later, my mom was like, "Matt, get off the computer. What are you doing?" So yeah, I was 13 when that was happening. Then my friend went to go home, right? And I was like, I want to keep playing. It was pretty bad. It was like, but we wanted to keep playing, so I set up a server. I did a lot of Googling. I found like a YouTube tutorial or something on how to set up a Minecraft server. And a couple months later, I started getting people asking me like, hey, can you set up servers for me? Like, I want to get my own server. So I had this like computer that sat under my desk. And I would set up servers for my friends. And I was like, hey, maybe I should be charging for this. Like that's probably something that we should do. Then I met James, who's actually in the audience, who's my co-founder at MC Pro Hosting and also at Beam. Cool guy.
Let's give James a round of applause.
I can vouch. I can vouch.
So James steps in and is like, yo, let's turn this into a business. And we were 13, so it was an interesting business back then. It's grown a lot since then, I'll say that much.
How much? How much has it grown?
We've hosted over 500,000 Minecraft servers. I'm not sure if it's still true today, but we were definitely the largest game server provider at some point. It grew a lot. We actually have a booth here. Moral of the story is I loved gaming. Transitioning from that to Beam, we had an amazing team. We had a bunch of resources. We loved live streaming. I was a big fan of Twitch. A bunch of streamers, Cobalt Streak on there was one of my favorite push streamers. But the delay was annoying, truthfully. I was trying to have a conversation and it would take 15 seconds to get a response or any kind of feedback cycle. So we started Beam with the resources and stuff. So,
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Nice to put a face to the person you put money to online.
Yeah. It is. Good to meet you.
All right, on the left.
What are some resources moderators have besides being able to moderate the chat?
Great question.
I'm not a moderator, so I don't know.
Yeah, so we want to do more on that front. We think there's more to be done. One of the things that we think is interesting is the concept of stream editors, so allowing moderators to set the title, the game that you're playing, things like that. That's cool. Customizing the way that your channel looks. Those are all things that we're working on. Our focus with moderators is right now kind of laser focused on mitigating trolls, right? So providing them tools to very quickly remove trolls from channels, because there's always going to be trolls. And so the quicker we can remove them, the better. So that's where all of our focus is going right now. But we definitely want to do more cosmetic stuff in the future. Cool.
You're welcome.
I think this is the last question.
No, there's one more.
One more.
Okay, cool.
All right.
So you guys have taken live streaming and you've made it better. My question to you is, can you guys take the live streaming software and make it better? Are there any plans in the future to implement a sort of Beam client that can live stream, whether it's a PC or Mac, because OBS and XSplit are kind of crap.
Yeah. It's
being
true.
So direct.
Thank you.
I appreciate the directness. It is true. I don't have anything to announce here, but it is a problem, and it's something that we're aware of. So keep an eye out.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I like your shirt, by the way.
Thanks, Pedro.
Yeah, thanks, Pedro.
All right, last question.
All right, so I was wondering, I guess, what kind of, I'm sorry if I missed this because it came in kind of late.
Sure.
What software and hardware would you recommend for, I guess, recording and streaming at the same time in, I guess, good quality? I would say at least 1920 by 1080, 30 FPS.
Okay, I know software is covered, hardware not so much, so I'll just quickly mention the software. I mean, the two biggest options right now are XSplit and OBS Studio. OBS Studio is a multi-platform tool. There's advantages and disadvantages to both. I mean, as far as hardware is concerned, there's been a lot of development over the course of the last even year or so, where programs like OBS Studio can actually piggyback off of your graphics card, in order to encode the stream, which can make the requirements a lot more balanced, because in the old days it was pretty much all CPU intensive, so that's these days, if you have at least a moderately good graphics card, you can probably use something like OBS. XSplit may have options as well, I'm not sure, where you can encode your stream and recording using the graphics card and manage the stream out to the internet with your CPU. So I mean, I could talk about actual specs, maybe something better than I guess as far as Intel modern ones are concerned, maybe something over like a $350 processor or something like that. Yeah. I don't know how much RAM factors into it, but something like that. Modern graphics card, maybe like a 1060 or even a 960 might do you well. Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah, and so I can actually talk about there's one other really important component that people often forget, specifically in the context of broadcasting. If you want to do a live stream, you have to have the internet connection to upload the stream, right? So if you want to do a 1080p 30 FPS broadcast, you need to have, I would say, at least a 6 megabit per second internet connection. The way that you set the bar for quality is by using the bitrate toggle. So like when you open XSplit or OBS, there'll be a field that says bitrate. And if you want to do 1080p 30 FPS, you should usually be around 3,500 what are called kilobits per second of upstream data. And you want to have like a 6.5 megabit per second upstream link. If you go to speedtest.net, you can test it.
Yeah, because if you only just barely meet the requirement, then slight deviations in your internet connection are just going to make you drop frames like crazy.
Which is not a good experience.
Being comfortably over that limit means that you'll never drop any frames.
You could bring it down to 720p too.
Yeah,
honestly.
exactly. There's all I used to stream with like a 2 megabit connection back in the day. I would just stream in like 360p or something like that. Everyone complained. Nobody liked it. But I did it. That's just what I wanted to do.
Yeah. One of the things I wanted to add there is don't go out and buy an amazing computer just to start streaming. Start with what you've got.
Yeah, absolutely. Start with whatever you have, take the feedback as it comes in, and improve when you can.
You can always tweak with settings. Hardware is expensive, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Awesome.
Thank you.
Not a problem.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.